beings. But then a scientist went on 60 Minutes and he said it was that close, and he held his fingers right together. He said if one little end of one little gene, I forget how he put it, was switched one other way, it would have been airborne and it would have been infectious to human beings, and that's how close we just came.
Yeah.
Looking for target.
I think throughout the history of life on this planet, we have faced danger after danger. And, you know, we've seen tens of millions of species come and go, probably because of dangers like that. It certainly could happen to us.
But we never before have been manipulating structures ourselves. Now we have begun to manipulate genetic material ourselves, and we've begun to, for example, they tell me it is now possible to take a woman's egg and fertilize it with her own genetic material and have her essentially duplicate herself. That can be done now.
Yes, and we can, I think, we can virtually clone humans. So we have the constructive ability to possibly
orc riders are pissing the troops off.
Like AIDS or like Ebola, but we also have the ability to create our own disease.
Well, you have obviously, you cannot have done what you have done, taught at those universities, international physicists, without knowing, at least to some degree, the nature of our ability to impact probably all proceed with science.
Oh, Captain's dead. Oh, this ain't gonna work.
I don't know how much cancer and Alzheimer's research
dead, huh?
we're doing in government labs, but my imagination tells me we're doing more biological warfare research, creating more terrible bugs. Now, of course, we say we're not going to work, but I don't believe it. Do you?
Yeah.
No, well, we have to do it because...
Failed this mission.
I like how I just say that so easily.
Failed.
But in a sense, we have to do biological research in order to defend against it. That's one reason.
Shoot. Captain's dead. All my troops are dead. The whole map's heading towards me. Oh, jeez.
We do lots of destructive...
The whole map is aggroed to me. Must be a million people here. Scorpion back there.
Very, very dire.
Yeah, they're gonna sit there pepper me down now. What happened to the captain?
No, I know, we condemn it.
Is he dead up here? Can I revive him?
But we do need to defend
get up there.
Our soldiers to be able to survive attacks like
Captain's
that.
over here. Looks like he's still fighting here.
Capability anyway.
If I can run through this crowd and lose aggro, revive my troops, and save this mission. Let's heal. Let's waste a health potion. I should just go die. There's a yellow name back here. What are you hiding in the corner for? Run through. I'm stuck. Die from the archers.
From Art Bell Somewhere in Time on iHeartRadio.
By the way, folks, I've got a full copy of Howard's Military Records from the Latina Pledge. Sent that along. Thanks very much.
Sure.
Obviously, you excelled at what you did.
Lost a little
and
aggro.
What you did was operate radios on submarines, eh?
That's correct. A radioman in the submarine service is a little bit different than that of a radioman.
Archers are on me.
Aside from the
Can't
fact
do
that we
nothing.
operate
10 seconds for healing
maintain all
potion.
communications for our captain,
Down
we also have
to
to
2,000
maintain the
life.
equipment to make sure it works. and
Healing
repair it
potion in
when it goes
3,
down.
2,
So it's
1.
the ultimate job for the ham radio operator.
Was it fun?
I loved it, Art. I could.
I lost aggro here. Let's see if I can
sleeping,
try
it
this
was,
again.
As you mentioned in your Art of Talk, it was. I was just amazed that I was being paid for what I was, what I enjoyed to do.
It is amazing. And the only way you can do that, frankly, is to ignore what everybody says,
I'm
which
out of
I
health
do all the
potions. Oh,
time,
that's not good.
and do exactly what you think is right or what you and
Following
tell
me.
everybody else politely,
Oh, I've still
if
seen
they're
axes.
polite, go to hell. Otherwise, just do what you
What's
think
that?
is right, and then it'll work out. That's
right. Of course, you have to modify that a little bit when you're in the military service.
You have to
Alright,
modify
let's
that a
revive
lot. I was
somebody
there.
with 5.
There's no question about it. But you can still have a lot of fun.
5.
Absolutely.
And so you
Welcome back, bros.
somehow ended up on the USS Pargo,
That's correct.
SSN 650, correct?
That's correct.
This was commanded by J.H. Patton. He was your captain?
James H. Patton Jr., yes. One of the
Seen an
finest
axe just fly by me?
37 attack boat skippers in the United States Navy.
No relationship to the other Patton.
No, he's no
Somebody still
relationship
got
to
aggro on me.
General George, and he was often asked that question from what I understand.
Fucking
I'm sure he
F1,
was.
yeah.
Now, he served
Alright.
as technical advisor
Everybody.
to the movie Hunt for Red October.
Give me something
That
to
is
shoot.
correct.
Now, you said something to me on the phone that really gave me a kick
These stupid
when we
archers.
talked before the show. You said, you know, if I'd written the
dark.
book
I turn the light
that
on.
Clancy wrote, I'd be in jail.
That's correct.
Why do you say that?
Well, because I had first-person experience, and I could, you've often heard the expression, I can neither confirm nor deny.
I've heard that a lot.
Yes, and I'm sure if
What
you
now?
were in the service, you may have used it yourself.
Mortars
yes.
are joining the
Okay.
battle.
Well,
About
I was,
frickin'
like
time.
many other people
Jeez.
in my position,
Long-range
were
attack.
instructed on things that we could talk about, things that we couldn't talk about. So if after leaving the submarine service,
Troops ready.
and after having had a top secret clearance and having been briefed into programs
Just take out these
above and
guys.
beyond top secret, had I written that book
Take out these
as
archers.
first person, twice getting the information through FBI's Information Act, I would have, I could have very well been in violation of
Support
US
me,
code
man. Do it.
and
Do it.
ended up in jail.
Let's do this.
That's
Well, I
really
saved this
interesting.
mission.
Then how did your captain,
I still think
how was your captain
there's a big boss coming out.
serve as technical
I haven't even seen the
advisor on
boss
that
yet.
movie, which you say was generally technically
I don't-
accurate, correct?
Oh yes, there was some
Pretty,
Hollywood stuff in there. I should
Ruthless map. Alright, take out this
well,
half-dead
because,
scorpion.
From
Right
what
there.
I understand, the captain was called as a witness, as an expert witness, to
scorpion.
advise and or testify in front of a Senate subcommittee when Tom Clancy was investigated.
They
You
investigated
need to heal.
Tom Clancy.
Heals up.
Yes. Some of the information in the Hunt for Red October was so accurate and
That's
so,
good. That's
so in depth that many felt that he may
Breathing
have
scorpion.
violated.
Now, when you say the information was accurate, the storyline
Captain needs to heal.
was
Captain needs to
a
heal.
rogue Russian who took over a submarine.
That's correct.
Are you telling me that
Yes.
really happened?
No, I can't tell you that.
You
I
cannot.
can tell you that it happened with Russian
out
fighter
Scorpion.
pilots that we've heard about in the news.
Now, when you say I can't tell you that, are you
Yeah,
mean
we have
I can
Scorpion.
neither confirm nor deny?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Oh my God, really?
Oh, shoot.
I assume that was the. Oh
Give me
my,
something to shoot.
that's very interesting. All right, we'll all read where we can.
Scorpion.
Actually, I can the story concerning the special silent, what they called Caterpillar Drive.
Monkeys moving in.
Well, since you were a radio man,
here
you
comes
were
a monkey.
frequently listening for and trying
I
to
got you.
identify the enemy, Russian side.
Oh, what's
That's
this?
correct.
Here comes the boss.
often
Oh, jeez.
special analysts.
Oh,
in
no.
our submarine when we went on.
This guy's like 100
when we
feet
were
tall.
Deployed on special missions.
Oh, I gotta get everybody alone time. Anytime alone
Always
time.
to identify a Russian submarine by
Everybody here.
the cavitation, or how do you identify a Russian sub?
By various, the sonarmen are well trained in being able to identify Russian submarines by types of, by the way the screw rotates, types of noises and tones that Russian subs might transmit and various other
so unique in its signature that a computer can digest what it's hearing and not only tell you what class sub it is, but which sub it is.
They can usually determine what class of submarine it is, and an experienced operator, an experienced sonar operator, a human being, can in some cases get it down to the exact code.
I take it you have and still have a very great deal of respect for Captain Patton. What kind of man was he?
Oh, you guys have something to shoot here.
He was, and I assume he still is, we worked hard at sea, and we
I'm
played hard.
Tagged with poison already.
When we went into port,
This big mamma jamma.
was always concerned that we were well
Heal you
taken
guys
care
up a
of,
little bit.
that we had a good time, and when we were at sea, he was determined that we did the finest job that we did.
How hard at sea did he drive?
Attempting a long-range attack. Attempting a long-range
He
attack.
drove us as you or I might drive any other professional. He didn't take us to the limit, but he knew that he could if he had to.
There was a movie called Bedford Incident. You ever seen that?
Yes, excellent.
Huge.
It was about a crew, not of a sub, but of a surface ship.
It's poison at its poison glands on its
so frequently
sides.
to the brink that they finally broke down, and of course there was a nuclear incident as a result.
Reverse targeting.
Your captain never
archers.
drove you that.
Oh, my God.
These are super archers.
When we trained hard.
Very neat. They got the dots.
Every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And go to coasttocoastam.com for more. Now, here's a highlight from Art Bell Somewhere in Time on iHeartRadio.
The whole UFO scene seems to be changing, and what to me is a kind of an
Riders
ominous
going
way.
crazy over
We've got
here.
that story which I read from the website of a possible murder by a UFO in Pennsylvania. Now,
And we're going to update that.
oh really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, all of this is kind of edging in the. You know, I'm not so sure I'm comfortable with this.
No.
Not E.T. one fuzzy blue alien story anymore. It's not moving that way at all, in my opinion.
Well, you know, somebody who's out there like that, they say if it is true, and come back,
Riders down.
highly motivated, or whatever it is they want to do. And
They're going to have the technology to achieve whatever they want to achieve, but that's for sure.
that's the interesting part here.
Riders are down.
When the
Come on.
Spanish showed up on the shore,
There it is. One scorpion that's just about to die.
like their technology was unabove. They had horses, they had guns, and
More scorpion.
but the reality was there's
Target scorpion.
just a little, 50 years, maybe less.
Yeah, big guy moving
Now,
in.
we are on the point
Bunch of poisons.
of anti-gravity.
Heal? Who needs to
There's
heal? Rifleman? You got it, Meng.
former aviation editor of
Targeting.
James Nick Cook.
I interviewed him.
Yeah, that's right. You
Yeah,
did,
yeah,
didn't
he
you?
admitted it. I mean, we've got big aerospace companies working on
Ranger
air-
hiding
on
behind the.
When he came on
Lots
scene,
of ranged
he
behind
had
the
actually
box.
by then had in his hand an entire
Oh, Ranger moving into melee
page
range.
presentation, I believe, from Boeing, internal presentation about the
Take
progress
it.
they've
Keep
made
working that
on
Scorpion.
anti-gravity, even
Scorpion's
plans.
down in 10 seconds. Hurry.
And he said
Big
unequivocally,
guy moving in.
They did.
5 seconds for a heal.
Admit it, and then deny
On
it.
the rifleman.
Always a bad move. Admit something and then
Again.
later deny it. I mean, that's something we're
Up
the
front,
United
getting
States
tagged
Air
with
Force.
poisons.
well,
You guys are all in Scorpion still, right?
that they will develop something, or have already
man,
developed
go.
something, and it's not going to get into the public.
Got a brush.
And the more we keep these crucial technologies secret, the more unpleasant our experience is going to be.
Yeah, well, Willie, we have to win wars, right? And if anti-gravity would be something that, for example, you could hold for and then be sure of winning the next war, because there's always a next war.
They're still targeting.
Then it's not going to get public. I mean, if on the one hand
Still
you got
got lock on
the public
something.
over here and war over here, and you're weighing the two, I can assure you the next
Something
war
like
wins.
that. All right.
Weapons at the ready.
You know what? Make the same
Big guy.
for the internal combustion engine.
We are
Oh,
under
yeah.
long range
You
attack.
can
Everybody
set
get
back
back.
to 1906.
Take the AA monster.
You may want to use it in military applications, and you would have strangled the progress of humanity. And if they're doing that, they are wrong, and it is.
Listen to more Art Bell Somewhere in Time every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And go to Coast AM.
Everybody's under attack right now. Okay. Okay. All right. Shift me. Troops ready. Oh, someone's about dead over here then. Rifleman getting a heal.
Now, here's a highlight from Art Bell Somewhere in Time.
Everybody on the big guy.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Target that big
Hi,
guy.
Art. I'm calling from Seaside, Oregon.
There it is.
Yes.
And I was just watching CNN. They were showing those pictures of the star being born.
Is that amazing or what?
There's two angles. They show it, you know, kind of like the fingers going to the
My
left.
Right.
bomb is up.
And then they have it where it's going straight up.
10-minute cooldown on this time.
And it's just like a hand. It is so beautiful.
It's creation.
Yeah. Well, it is. It is kind of awe-inspiring.
He's
but,
got
I agree
full
with what you
health.
said earlier.
Not
What are
good.
they not telling us? But we are already finding out there. Spectacular.
Kill the captain.
Well, I don't know. What's in that photograph is as good as any science fiction book anyway.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we need to live
Ditto,
with
bro.
much science fiction anymore. Most of what, like
Just
Jules Verne, it
keep
came through,
firing.
and then
Keep firing.
every time we talk about science fiction, it becomes the now science.
It certainly does.
Yeah, and I want to thank you. You have such a nice show. I know. And I get you in about 16 different ways,
Want to
probably
move
on the
up to
coast here.
who are
You
these
do,
guys
huh?
sitting
Well,
here
I
looking
get
to
5 or
play?
6 stations. I can get
Okay.
Spokane, sometimes Salt Lake, Eugene, sometimes Portland.
All depends on the atmosphere.
Yeah, we're right on top.
Well, then I think that does skip a little.
I want to ask you something else. With all the things that you talk about on your show, how do you balance it without getting too anxious about the possibility of things that could happen? I know, you encourage people not to get paranoid,
Rain from the sky.
but,
No,
you know,
I do, and I balance myself in a lot of different ways.
Just
And I don't
keep shooting.
always succeed. And I don't mean to give that impression. And there are times when I am affected by what I do. But I try, I mean, life is life. And if a comet's going to come crashing into Earth, basically, I can't stop it.
well, I'm worried about the tsunami that we're going to get here in Oregon.
Well, all right. So
I've been prepared.
that's
My
a
car's
tsunami.
ready.
That's another good thing. If a 100-foot wave is going to come washing over your head,
You don't have a chance anyway.
there's not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah, unless you get some warning.
Try a little body surfing for a few seconds, and then it's over.
Well, I know something else I want to
Get
ask
nailed.
you from a long time
When
ago.
I'm in the
alien thing
commander
on the
mode, I
galaxy.
just
yeah.
stand there
And I
and
got
block.
your newsletter. When I opened that and I saw those figures, every time I see a crop circle, I get the same impression. I know what they are, but I can't tell
It
you.
still hurts.
It's like I've seen them, or they're in my mind somewhere, or I've seen them somewhere. But when I see a crop circle, I'm almost
So big I
certain
can't
there's
fit
a
him in the
message there,
camera.
but I
Can't
can't
see his,
translate it.
You're not
Health
yet
bar.
to the mashed potato stage.
Well, I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, don't you remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Oh, no, huh?
Jeez.
Remember
No.
the mashed potato thing where
guess
it's
he's
building
dying.
a little...
No, it makes me calm when I see
So
it.
big again. There it
It's like
is.
a lot of the things that, have been coming out. and I
He's
think,
3/4
it's like,
dead.
Okay, I know that. It's okay. I don't feel scared of that.
I'm not beyond believing there is a conditioning process underway.
Well, I believe that, too, because I know that there was sequence that we knew about Pegasus 51 a couple of years ago.
Who's attacking you?
Boy,
And for it to be released now,
there sure have been a lot of recent discoveries, haven't there?
it makes you stop and say, well, it's like the guy last night from Australia. You stop and evaluate your personal life, and you live your life according to what you can.
That's right.
And you hope you don't get run over by
Speedies.
That is about my attitude.
Shoot, don't die.
And I don't commute anymore, so my
Lock and
odds
load.
of getting hit by the Mack truck are reduced.
Well, and I'm disabled, so I don't hardly go anywhere either. So.
Well, there you are. All right, thank you very much for the call, and just hang in there. Dealing with current events and news and things I do. And as I said, I do not really succeed like everybody else. Some of the scallion stuff
The guy's about to die.
against them. But, again,
Why? I've got a little baby healing potion.
what are you going to do? I suppose
I'm gonna move that.
I'll take notice and I'll say, well, gee whiz.
Alright, I'm moving away.
Better
Big
move
guy
east.
down? Yeah.
But I don't know where you're going to go.
Alright, troops.
If Scallion's future map were
Give me
to be
something to shoot.
You're gonna work on the other little
Lyman
mini
is
boss here.
never be the same.
Let's rain fire on the enemy!
Well, you should never say never, but
I'll stay back and
generally
heal
speaking,
myself.
In the foreseeable generations, it would not be. It would reshape everything. I'm not
There's a
saying
lot of
like
range still out
extinguished
there.
because it would not. But it wouldn't be the same for a long time. So you contemplate
2,
these
3,
things
4,
as
5,
you do
6,
the
7.
birth of stars.
7
And
troops.
photographs the birth of stars.
Boy.
And the process of creation and all of these other things.
Everybody
that
take
were
on this guy.
And so I'm happy to
Mortar barrage.
Listen to more Art Bell somewhere in time. Every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And go to coasttocoastam.com for more.
Affirmative!
Phew, I think I saved this mission. Wow. Sweet. Is that guy dying? Do I have to move up on him? Alright, let's do plan B.
Moving out!
Captain's tanking him. Let's
Let's rain fire on the enemy!
work on some of these.
Now, here's a highlight from Art Bell
Range
somewhere
guys.
in time on iHeartRadio.
If Graham Hancock were standing at the door, that first door leading to the first chamber beneath the Sphinx, and you were able to go through it, would you have trepidation, or would you march right through?
No, I would have immense trepidation about going through it. These places are not meant to be marched into. I do think that they were meant to be found, but I think that that what is required is a period of preparation, of careful preparation. And that's one of the reasons, amongst many, why I think that the project currently granted a license by the Egyptian Antiquities Organization at the Sphinx must be stopped forthwith, and the license must be withdrawn, while proper consideration is given to how this matter should be followed up. I do definitely believe that these chambers should do. I think, however, that the question of exactly which teams open them and under what circumstances they are opened should be very, very carefully weighed up and considered by the Egyptian authorities, and others internationally should have a very direct input into this, because the pyramids and the Sphinx are a legacy of all of mankind. And
Well,
one of the things we should consider is what the ancient texts say about the sanctity and significance of these chambers, and about the state of mind of those who enter them.
All right. What can you imagine might be in there? In other words, maps, machines, religious literature, legacy of mankind,
Big treasure chest, a lot of blues in there, maybe a purple.
All the traditions of ancient Egypt, which are our only guideline on this matter, and which mean we do not have to imagine what is there, but rather to listen to what the ancient Egyptians say, tell us that this is material of two kinds. it's material that one could call broadly
popped up. You see that? They popped up.
which
Boom.
records the lost story of human civilization. The civilizations that have the capacity 12,500 years ago to conceive of this extraordinary scheme, and that date of 10,500 BC is fully evidenced in my books, Fingerprints of the Gods, and in the message of the Sphinx. So partly historical in nature.
I guess he's going down. He's just hard to kill.
A sort of time capsule of information from a forgotten episode in human history. But also, the Egyptian traditions tell us that what is concealed there touches on the fundamental mystery, the mystery of the immortality of the human soul,
on the
and
archers.
of how
Keep mortars on the boss over here.
in order to prepare for the journey that we will make after death.
That information could change
melee
the entire world.
I believe that information could change the entire world, and I believe it was intended to change the entire world, and that it was always conceived of as that a time would come when it would do that. Look, we're looking here at a very careful attempt to hide away time capsules, and I repeat, this is in plural, two places, not just one place of Giza. And for me, this is part of the significance that we don't only have a chamber underneath the Great Sphinx, but we also have a chamber inside the Great Pyramid, the doorway to which was discovered by a robot camera in 1993. I mentioned this on your last show, but just to fill in those who weren't with us then. The Great Pyramid of Egypt, which weighs 6 million tons,
4 seconds for
within its massive superstructure 4 very unusual features which are not found in any other pyramid. And these are narrow shafts which angle up steeply through the monument from inside 2 of the known chambers of the monument. And 2 of these shafts, they're just 8 inches wide and 8 inches high. About you could roughly fit a small dog into the mouth of one of these shafts.
Almost
2 of these shafts go all the way through the body of the pyramid and exit on the outside, and actually point at particularly significant stars. And the other 2 shafts from the lower chamber do not exit on the outside of the monument, and it was these, both the northern and the southern shaft, that were explored by the German engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink in 1993 with a very high-tech robot camera. And in the northern shaft, after a journey of approximately 80 feet, the robot came to a bend in the shaft. There were some metal objects observed on the floor which the camera could not capture in high definition. But they felt that they did not want to negotiate it around the bend unless it became stuck in the shaft. So they pulled it down. They then explored the southern shaft, and they reached the end of the southern shaft after a journey of 200 feet. And what was at the end of that shaft was a door, a portcullis door, complete with 2 metal handles. And this was the point at which Rudolf Gantenbrink's project inside the Great Pyramid was cancelled forthwith by the Egyptian authorities, and has never since been resumed, although in a rather parallel case to what is happening at the Sphinx, and again involving this same Egyptian official. An announcement has been made that a Canadian team will be involved in opening that door later this year, and again there are signs of some sort of ghastly commercial enterprise surrounding this project as well. Now, if you were the survivors, let's just look at this theoretically. If you were the survivors of a lost civilization, of a civilization that was destroyed in the enormous cataclysm that brought the last ice age to an end, and a great civilization, I believe, and one with a high spiritual knowledge. If you had survived, if you were amongst the few survivors, and you had precious knowledge that you wished to pass down to the future, and if you you would be far-sighted enough to know that mankind would revert to barbarism, and that there would be a time of terrible darkness, perhaps for thousands of years, before humanity again reached a level where it could use this information, you would hide it away very, very, very carefully, but you would provide clues that would enable people to find it. And I think that that's what we're looking at on the Giza Plateau in Egypt. We're looking at the clues that lead to specific locations. That shaft which led to that doorway was always a clue. The opening of that shaft was sealed until 1872. The last 5 inches of stone over the mouth of that shaft had been left deliberately in place, and if you walked into that, to the to the lower chamber in the Great Pyramid, before 1872, you would just have seen blank walls. But a very enterprising engineer went around those walls one day, tapping with a hammer, and found two hollow-sounding points, and he chopped those through with a chisel, and lo and behold, there were the mouths of these two shafts ascending up at steep angles into the body of the pyramid. And it's in these shafts, as I say, that these discoveries were made in 1993. And I think the builders of that monument
Nothing left for
always
this guy.
intended them to be found,
Everybody.
but did not intend them to be
Everybody on
found
the
by
captain.
barbarians who would not know what to do with the knowledge hidden there.
Well, I'm not sure what that says about our present state of social affairs, but Graham, you mentioned hints. Are there any hints about when these things should be found? I mean, is there any text, anything that tells us the timeline when these things should be found?
There is a curious suggestion of this, which is locked deep in the entire Egyptian system of knowledge, and this is connected to the changing patterns of the stars.
231,000 health. That's why I'm not dying.
Orion, which, like all the stars in the sky, changes its positions over a 26,000-year cycle, and the effect of this change in position is to cause its altitude above the horizon to continuously rise for 13,000 years, then to fall for 13,000 years, then to rise again. And if we go back to the beginning of that cycle, we find ourselves in the period when these monuments, when this incredible site was originally conceived, which I'm absolutely adamantly certain is the epoch of 10,500 BC, and it is now a simple astronomical fact that we're at the end of the current cycle. We're at the highest altitude, whereas at that time the stars were at the lowest altitude. We were then at the first time of Orion, Osiris, and we are now at the last time, what would be an astronomical, the last day. And there is a strong indication in that material that this is the time we live in now. Of course, you're speaking in terms of vast expanses of thousands of years, and you would have to say, give or take 100 or 200 years, but it is our time. This appears to be the time that this was intended to happen. And when I look around the world and see the state of the mess that we are in, frankly, seems to me that this is indeed the time when we desperately need vision from the past, something that will shake us up and help us to understand that
Holding guard.
a new direction in life.
Health
As a
pots. I
species,
really
if we are
shouldn't
not
be in this melee fight.
waste and destroy
142 while I'm
we've
walking.
been given, and that's why I'm so concerned about the projects that are taking place at Giza. I'm concerned with the secrecy surrounding these projects, and I'm concerned that objects could actually be removed from those chambers and could be taken away without the rest of us knowing anything about it whatsoever.
Or now I don't know a lot about the pyramids, but I remember all the old movies, Graham, about the pyramids and sand shifting in walls and rocks coming down. Is it not possible that if they go blundering in,
I'm sitting here holding block. Apparently you can't block that special little skill you got. Alright, let's go, well, on my range, guys, take him out. I'm gonna go check his chest.
Who created these structures
No, this can't
had
be.
a profound knowledge of
Oh,
human
he runs
nature
away.
and knew that greed and ego and the lust for power would come into play when these chambers were being discovered. And it is most probable indeed that they will have taken safeguards to protect against that, which still doesn't mean that the rest of us should be complacent about it. Perhaps the safeguard that they created was a psychological one. Perhaps the safeguard is us. Perhaps it's up to us. Perhaps it's up to the world community to
Whoa, that was tough.
Definitely.
That's tough.
These monuments are
That's
a
fun
legacy
now.
of the whole of mankind.
Woo, yeah.
Projects that are taking place cannot be monopolized in secret by a few
Troops got
wealthy
8,000
individuals.
EXP.
Perhaps that's the safeguard. Perhaps it's awakening human knowledge
pair
which
of
will
blue
protect these
pants.
chambers ultimately.
Listen to more Art Bell somewhere in time every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And go to coasttocoastam.com for more.
No, crappy.
Now, here's a highlight from Art Bell Somewhere in Time
Let's go check
on
big chests.
iHeartRadio.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Purple.
I can't believe I got through to you.
We like
a lot of people
purple.
I know, I'm a long-time listener.
Take the blues first,
And where
because
are
we're
you?
gonna crunch them
I am
up.
in Coos County, Oregon.
Crunching up the
listening to you
blue,
on
yes.
KWRO. I had a thought
Crunching
that
up the
kind of fell
green.
into a little bit what the last caller was just saying about, without
fucking
having
full.
I'm getting nervous, I'm sorry.
Full.
Without being able to read other people's minds, what if we, from a fairly young age, felt pain that we inflicted on other people to the same severity?
Me.
Without knowing, you know, if they were happy or sad, or they thought, gosh, I hate that shirt she has on today, but actual pain was felt.
Then it would indeed be a very different world. We wouldn't have the mindless, sort of blank staring youth that does some pretty inexplicable things that we have today.
Right, and don't you think it would be kind of like Pavlov's dog or whatever, where our learned behaviors as we were growing up?
Absolutely.
We would avoid circumstances where we would feel pain, and therefore we wouldn't be inflicting it on, you know, we wouldn't want to inflict it on someone else because we would feel it just as severely, physical or emotional.
I must say that's pretty good. That's pretty doggone good. I don't even see an immediate catch in that. If we had empathy and felt what others felt when we hurt them,
without knowing, you know, what their thoughts were,
Sorry, I got
or
a
being
lot of
able
crap.
to read their minds, just feeling the painful, emotional or physical. If we're beating the crap, if I can say crap on the radio,
yeah, you
saved
we
it.
would feel it.
Mission
And,
completed.
you know, it would be a good place.
Phew.
I really don't see any holes in that idea. That's pretty good stuff.
Well, I'm honored that
you. Too bad you're not.
All right, we can take a little break.
Yeah, I'm not even.
Back in a few.
No,
I appreciate it. Thank you. And so far, that's the best one I've heard, in a way. There would not be telepathy, because as I explained, that would be a total disaster. Total. But instead, we would just give us a thumbs up.
Hi, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And also check out abigbluemarble.com and sign the world's guest book. And as always, guys, I will see you next time.